we now want to have a look at what are some of the extra things that you need to do to work towards a merit. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look in under the plan section, and we need to look at an assumption. So this is quite a new idea for you. This is looking at, we're generating some data to try and estimate and come up with a prediction for what we think might actually happen. We don't have absolutely theoretical data to confirm it, so we, in order to use this model, in order to estimate and come up with a good guess, we need to have some assumptions that underlie it. And one of our most important assumptions is an assumption about independence. Okay, and that assumption is that each of the outcomes must be independent of one another. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's have a look at this example, and I'll try and talk you through a little bit. So when we're talking about our different eye colours for children, okay, the outcome for this is the eye colour of a child, okay, and we know that the eye colour of the children could be blue, green, brown, or grey. So we've got 4 different eye colours, and we are going to assume that the eye colour that each child has is independent of the next child, and the next child, and the next child. So sometimes that would be an assumption that we can say, yeah, that would be okay for this particular situation. However, in this, when we're talking about eye colour, we can't say that. So if I think about genetics, and you've covered a bit of this in your science in the past, when you are looking at what eye colour the children might have, you often go back to what eye colour the parents have. And there are some eye colours that are dominant and some eye colours that are not dominant. So if so what the eye colour of the child had does depend on what eye colour the parent has, because they inherit those genetics. If the parent doesn't have the genetic code for grey eyes, then the children will not be able to have grey eyes. So in this example, we can't assume that the independence is okay. So in this example, we would actually have to say, well, the independence in this one, which we're assuming, is not okay. And that means that our whole model could be at risk, because it means I can't completely trust everything that I've generated. I can't completely trust my data, because that data is based on an assumption that is not true. So my data, my results, my conclusion may not be accurate because I have a problem with this independence assumption. If I was in a situation where the independence assumption was fine, that there wasn't a problem with it, then in that case, that means that my data, my results, my conclusion are all very valid, very reliable, and I can feel confident using those results. So when your independence assumption is not okay, that means that we've got to be careful how we interpret it. We've got to be careful how much we believe the data that we've generated, and be aware that it's not completely trustworthy.